Welcome to Eyes on Indies number 2. Eyes on Indies is my list of amazing looking future indie games. Sadly, most don't have exact dates at all, but links to the games can be found in the description if you want to go to their Steam page or to their particular pages if they don't have one. Share this video and like it if you want to spread the word of indies. Put a list of whatever indie titles that you're interested in the comments as well. I'm doing these remotely, so no title splashes for now. Let's begin. Gray. So a South Korean one-man game firm known as Indie has shown footage of their third-person action game, Gray. With the advent of titles made by single creators such as Bright Memory, as well as better engine support, smaller teams and single creator teams can press more work into a title than really ever before. Gray's about a Native American-styled protagonist in a world where aliens are attacking, and it's his job to discover their weak point as well as to take them out. Now, I agree that the game for sure has elements of Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a Native American flavor, as well as that ideal towards futuristic-styled enemies. However, I can say what shows up here looks way more interesting to me than a lot of other titles I've seen in the last couple years. And I certainly think that as we get to see more footage, it's actually started to look quite a bit different, at least when it comes to the aliens. While Indie is looking for more developers to assist them with this, a lot of gameplay was shown, far past the one-man walking down the street Unreal Engine examples that we've seen a lot of times. This has physical action, combat, and gameplay being shown. However, it is early. The Gray, which is a quick hipster hat tip to gray aliens, have a mix of something from 1960s saucer types, hard chrome and glass futuristic looks, almost like Oblivion, and some places like EDF, the Defense Force games, as well as a very alien look to the creatures themselves that we see in the footage. The developers also showed footage of spaceships in the sky that can be teleported to and investigated, with each of them offering their own puzzles and processes like floating dungeons in an open world game. And they have also indicated this would be for the Xbox game system. Listen, it looks incredible even if it cribs from other games. So many games do. I'm playing the Forza titles right now and they look a lot like any other racing title, but it's what each one offers within that's going to interest me. This interests me to see what a small team can do, what they've already shown of the game, and where all of this could go. At the very least, count me incredibly interested. Truck World, Australia. I dig these games. Drive the massive road train through Australia. Challenge yourself by traversing the outback and transporting heavy loads over long distances in some of the worst weather on the planet. Australia's terrain has a great deal of variation in biome type, and Australia is the world's 6th biggest country, despite being the smallest continent. Australia is home to both deserts and snow-capped mountains in the Australian Alps, as well as lush tropical and temperate forests, and you get to drive through all of them. Australia's road trains are world famous for being the longest and heaviest in the industry as well. Road trains consisting of 3 or more trailers will represent the pinnacle of your ability and skill. Truck World Australia is one of those simulators that I love to do. I wouldn't want to be a truck driver in real life, but you can damn bet if there's a simulator game of it, I'll probably jump in just to check it out. That's from developer Truck World Studio and publisher Hype Train Digital. The next up, The Pale Beyond. This is by Ballure Studios and fellow traveler. More than 5 years ago, the crew of the Viscount has set sail through the Pale Passage in a pursuit of absolute magnetic south. Tragically, the ship and everybody aboard perished in the icy waters. The Viscount's sister ship, the Temperance, will try to replicate the journey in the hopes of discovering the answers that the former vessel missed. The ice doesn't care about your choices, though, yet they're all going to count. Every choice you make in the game will help you move through the ice. It will help you create the team that you need and continue to keep them alive. You have to manage all your supplies, strike a balance between security and morale of all the people, make tough choices, and push forward into the only possible destination, the Pale Beyond, which for me, of course, will be pushing everybody off and stealing their food. It's critical to ensure that the crew and your sled dogs have adequate shelter, food, and clothing throughout the journey. But if you don't do a good job, you can have a rebellion, which I assume is you being pushed off the ship. The Pale Beyond is coming out soon, and I actually think this game looks really cool. I like these kind of games with a lot of moral choices in really bad locations, and The Pale Beyond seems to be that. Shadows of Doubt. This is by Coal Powered Games and Fireshine Games. This is a first-person detective stealth in a futuristic noir metropolis. If that doesn't make you excited, nothing will. Your job is to do everything it takes to apprehend a serial murderer who's currently at large. You'll need to skulk, follow, conceal, hack, and pick locks, simply maintaining a low profile while searching him out. Set in a hyper-industrialized 1980s parallel reality with a noir theme, the player acts as this private intelligence investigator in the shadows of doubt, earning money by solving other crimes, locating and selling information they've got from those, and performing various side activities, as well as hunting down the serial killer. There's a lot of money to be made from the capture of the serial killer on the loose, but the journey is what's going to actually be a part of this, with the side jobs, a night out drinking, shooting pool, or a trip to the streets to make ends meet are all your options, and they will all feed back into the story. You go all across town to see what you can find, everything hidden away in filthy dives, casinos, and hotels, with a ton of people in the game world. The dystopian world is yours to explore, in addition to breaking into apartments, searching secret documents, hacking security systems, or a dropped receipt can be traced back to a restaurant where the patron's identity can be determined by comparing the time the receipt was dropped with the time the restaurant's CCTV cameras captured the incident. There's a bunch of mini gameplay styles within this one overall game. Also, everything in existence in this game is in the simulation. Each resident has their own home, their own career, regular schedule, hobbies, hangouts, and friends. They'll all go on living their own lives, and life will go on whether you're doing anything or not. And you can utilize that information to your advantage, perhaps waiting for somebody to show up for their job so you can crack them for a little bit of extra data. Shadows of Doubt provides a one-of-a-kind detective experience, at least that's what they say, challenging players to think like investigators as they scour call logs, crack passwords, read private emails, interview witnesses, review surveillance footage, and more, all of which can be stored at your discretion on your investigation board, think of CSI Miami, and linked using different colored strings to form a complete picture. That is just all kinds of awesome. SIGNALIS from Rose Engine and Humble Games, a futuristic take on the classic survival horror game in which mankind has unearthed a sinister truth and now must face consequences. Elster, a technician replica, is on a mission to recover her lost dreams. To do so, she has to solve a cosmic mystery, avoid dangerous animals, and scavenge in a secret government facility on an alien world. There's cosmic dread, traditional psychological survival horror as you explore and uncover hidden secrets, hard puzzles, and horrific monsters. This is all bookended in a very dismal future, one where mankind has overrun the entire solar system, and a dictatorship now controls the populace through consistent monitoring and propaganda. Replicas, which is one of the characters you play, are humanoid androids that serve the public as employees, civil servants, and protectors, indistinguishable from people they were created to look like. I'm a big cyberpunk fan, and while this doesn't necessarily fit that perfectly, the idea of going around and doing all this detective work is so cool to me. This game looks awesome. Afterimage by Modus Games. One of those titles that is all about magic, a fantastical world, uncover the mysteries in Afterimage, discover a stunning landscape, abandoned buildings of once great cities, inhabited by enigmatic, enormous creatures, and endearing wandering souls, of which you'll probably end up killing them all. On your travels, you're going to run into exotic monsters such as firewalking, hulking giants, skulking ghosts, hiding in the depths of nasty-ass mazes. It's important to find out more about the people you've recently met, as well as helping them and protecting them, including their histories and any plans they may have. There's a lot of combat and action in this, and each region has its unique set of foes and gameplay elements. In addition, there's a wide variety of bosses that they put in the game to face as you travel through the nation. This is one of those games that's a fast-paced ARPG. It has a wide variety of weapons, it has unique attacks, and many different avenues of advancements along this large skill tree. While this genre is a little bit filled up right now, I actually think Afterimage looks like one of the more interesting ones that's coming out. Planet of Lana by Wishfully and Thunderful Publishing. A young girl and her loyal friend embark on a rescue mission through a colorful world full of cold machines and unfamiliar creatures. Planet of Lana is a cinematic puzzle adventure framed by an epic sci-fi saga, stretches across centuries and galaxies. A planet that used to be a place of undisturbed balance between human nature and animal has now become something entirely, and guess what? That's where you are. So, of course, it's going to be dangerous. The disharmony that's been in the making for hundreds of years has finally arrived in the form of this faceless army. But one of the cool things about this game is it is about saving this world, this vibrant, beautiful planet, and trying to keep it the way it is. And the idea that you're going out there to do that looks awesome. So does the game so far. This is one I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Sunday Gold by BCom Studios and Team 17 Digital. The dark dystopian future of Sunday Gold is a point-and-click turn-based adventure game. You take on the role of a misfit gang of 3 out to bring down a corrupt billionaire boss. It's got a blend of escape room style stuff, RPG gameplay, and turn-based combat. London, once a vibrant metropolis, is now shrouded in darkness and despair. Joblessness and homelessness have reached crisis potential. Kenny Hogan, a filthy millionaire, is up to no good and he's pushing morality to the breaking point. So Frank, Sally, and Gavin are an unlikely trio of crooks. I already like their names, but it's up to them to foil Kenny Hogan's schemes and bring him to his knees. It's no easy task, and they'll encounter a variety of challenges along the road. You get to explore this incredible universe. It is fully voice acted, which is awesome. It's got hand-drawn backgrounds, 2D cinematics reminiscent of comic books, and they say nail-biting cliffhangers that'll keep you glued to your seat. This game has had some comparisons to Disco Elysium because not only are you going to be fighting your foes, but also your own tension. Unsettling and stressful circumstances wear down on your character's resolve, leading them to act hastily. You can keep your cool with all kinds of consumables and your own leadership skills. If you can't keep your cool and your wits about you, you will not be successful. I love the idea of Disco Elysium, and I like any game that's going to try to investigate that kind of gameplay even more. This one looks phenomenal. I adore these kind of games, and it's probably one of the highest on this list for me. And if there's any game that might be higher, it might be this one, CULTIC. This is from Jazos Games and 3D Realms. To die is just the beginning. Raise your dead body and prepare to battle your way through a sinister cult. To survive in this throwback shooter, you're going to need a fire slide, blast, duck, dodge, and maybe even toss a jib or two. Or gib, depending on where you're from and how you pronounce it. Prepare to engage in a pitched battle with members of a dangerous cult. They've had their miserable brains perverted by the will of someone unseen. So you can expect to get back as much bullet fire as you give in this throwback shooter. With CULTIC, you're free to tailor your strategy to how you play best in battle. You can charge in hand first, you can skip and dive and weave to avoid injury. If you'd rather to take things slowly or maybe play more defensively, you can actually set traps, force your foes to come into them, or pull the enemies towards you and deal out some major van damage. Then pick them off one by one while hiding in cover. But they've also made sure that there's at least one other way, which I really like about this game, and that's quick movement, but not necessarily overly aggressive. Zigzagging through your enemies, turning their strikes on each other, because enemy fire can hit each other. If you survive the onslaught of mid-century weaponry and explosives, you'll be ready to wipe out everything that stands in your way and continue on the story. The combat, they say, is swift and lethal, and the videos I've seen show that, but the game also has some stealth. Because surviving the ordeal, making it through all the cult territory, you must constantly move around. You have to maintain a state of concealment or make effective use of your weapons if you decide to go that route. There's a lot of different ideas and designs that I've noticed in CULTIC that sort of make me interested even in that old style nostalgia of a classic shooter. It does have current engine enhancement, mechanics, lighting, and a completely 3D game environment. Every facet of the game, from the controls to the music, is crafted to provide you a one-of-a-kind adventure, or so they say. But what I've seen of CULTIC actually does look like that is probably what they're going to be doing. We've seen a lot of these throwback nostalgic shooters, and there's nothing wrong with that, but a lot of them have a bit of that one-trick pony kind of design to it. From what I've seen of CULTIC, it in no way, shape, or form looks like that. And speaking of looks like that, it looks like this is the end. If you guys want to support this channel and these kind of things, especially as I get continually demonetized or adult rated for whatever reason, check out the Patreon. It absolutely helps the channel. Or possibly go and maybe buy a shirt or something like that from Teespring to support the ACG channel. You'll be seeing these videos from me most likely once a week. Also, stay tuned because you'll see more reviews, previews, and a couple new podcasts and interviews showing up on the channel in the later days. If there's a developer or somebody who's doing an indie that you want me to take a look at, put it in the comments. Make sure to spread this on Twitter and maybe ping them as well. Peace out and enjoy the rest of your week.